Okay, so hi Bhavani, am I audible?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. All right. So, did you practice yesterday code?
No, I didn't practice it.
Did you create something?
No, actually, I'm busy because I will make today
Okay,
itself.
no issue. You can present it by tomorrow or in the next class. Okay, but
Mm.
practice is very much important, right?
Yes, yes, I will do.
All right, that's great. Okay, so in HTML, so many things we have studied,
Mm.
right? From today onwards, we are going to start CSS. Okay, so let me share the screen first. So basically CSS is for what? So whenever we want to provide the style to our HTML page, then we need CSS. HTML CSS example image. Okay. So okay, you can understand this. This is the skeleton, which is nothing but an example of it is an example of HTML. Okay, if you're creating the HTML means you are writing HTML means you are creating the skeleton. You are creating the skeleton of a web page. But if you will add the CSS means you are providing the style. Okay, style is like uh, it's wearing the clothes. Okay, wearing the shoes. Okay, so a skeleton having a proper style that comes through the CSS. Right? We can say this is kind of beauty parlor. Okay, or we can say this is a makeup for HTML. CSS provide makeup to whom? To HTML pages. Okay, okay, so let me write the agenda of what we have to do today. So this is the CSS first class. Okay, so CSS means cascading style sheet. Okay, CSS full form is what? Cascading style sheet. Okay, but before understanding the CSS in detail, let's talk about the agenda of today's class. So what we have to discuss? So first we will discuss about introduction to CSS. Then we will discuss about the types of CSS. Okay, the third one we will discuss about CSS syntax. Okay, syntax and selectors. Then we will proceed with colors, background, and borders. Next, and after that, we have to study about the we can say fonts and text styling, right? And the sixth one we have to study about box model. So box model is an interesting concept, an important concept of CSS. And after that, we will learn margin, padding, and display bounding. Okay. And next and after that we have to study about positioning. Positioning and layout. Okay, how we can position elements in a proper structure way. And after that we have flex box. Okay, flex box. This is a big concept. We will understand it in a proper way. Then we will create a mini project. Okay, so let's see what we can discuss today. Like understanding all the things in day one, it's complex, but we will try to finish maximum thing. Okay, so let's start with introduction. Okay, so introduction. Okay, so CSS. So whenever somebody asks you like what is CSS, CSS stands for what? CSS stands for cascading style sheet, right? So this is the full form of CSS, right? And why we use the CSS? It is used to style and design HTML elements. What are the HTML elements are there? Can you please tell me? Am I
Head, body, title,
Yeah, the tag, whatever tag we use in the HTML, that is
doc
nothing but
type,
elements.
doc type. Okay.
Okay.
Doc type HTML.
That is the structure. I'm not asking the
Yes.
structure of the HTML. I'm just saying
Okay.
what are the elements, HTML elements. So that is also an element, but whenever we talk about elements, so generally we discuss about like heading element, paragraph element,
Smoker.
okay, a table element. So these kind of elements we can design using the CSS. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, Okay, so next, if someone asks you why we use CSS, so we use CSS to provide the layout to our web page, to provide colors and font style and spacing between the content. So we use for that purpose also. It controls layouts, layout colors, fonts, and spacing. Okay. So HTML means structure and CSS means styling, right? So how to provide the style to an element? So let's try to understand the syntax of CSS. Syntax, right? So the syntax is first of all we write the selector name, and after that we write the property, and after that we mention the property value. Okay. Example of it, for example, coding example. Let's suppose a selector is what? Selector could be a paragraph, a H1 heading or H2 heading, or we can say table tag, anchor tag. It could be any selector. So let's suppose I'm using H1. H1 is a selector. Okay, although there are different types of selectors as well, like element selector, tag selector, ID selector, but we will discuss later. So right now our selector is what? Element. H1 element we are selecting. So this is what? Selector. Next is what? Property. So property is related to CSS. So which property we want to give? So let's suppose h1 is a heading. I want to change the color of this h1 heading. So how I will write? I will write the property. So color is a property, then colon, and the value of this property is what? Blue. So property is what? Color, and value is what? Blue. Okay, so can I change the font size of h1? Yes. So after semicolon in the next line you can provide the font size. So font size. Okay, and after that font size is a property, and you can mention here size, let's suppose 30 pixel. So this is the value of that property. So all these two properties we are applying to whom? To h1 element. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so here I am creating one folder css, and in the css folder I'm creating day one. Okay, and in the day one I will create one file called css introduction.html. I'm creating file .html file, right? So what I will do, first of all I will write the boilerplate code of html. Okay, so how to write the boilerplate code? As we already know, we can take the boilerplate code by writing here html colon 5. Okay, so if we will write html colon 5, then boilerplate code will come. Okay, so this is the boilerplate code, and I'm writing here css 01. Okay, so let's suppose this here I'm writing one h1 element, and the message I am writing here, this is my first css class, right? Okay, so if I want to check the output, I will go to like what I'm getting output. This is my first css class, right? Now I want to apply css to this text. So in order to provide the css to this text, what I need to do, I need to write the css property. So where we can write the css property, you can write css in the head section. You can write the css in element itself. You can write the css in the separate file as well, but right now I will write the css in the head section. Okay, so css using css here. Okay, so whenever you want to write the css in the head section, you need to use style tag. Which tag? Style tag. So style tag open and style tag close, right? And after that, here you will write the css. Okay, so for example I'm writing css like color is blue, right? So color is blue. Let's suppose I have one more tag here like paragraph, and I'm writing a lorem 20. Okay, so these are the 20 words are there. Okay, so my question is like this css property which is color blue. Okay, so this property you want to apply on which element? Here we have two things. One is heading h1 element, one is paragraph element. So if you want to apply this property to h1, so here you will mention the tag name. So what's the tag name? H1. So can you see blue color has applied on h1 heading. Let's suppose if I mention here p1, if I mention here p tag. So if you will see here, so the css property, css properties are applying to the paragraph element. Okay, so it's important to mention clearly to which element of I mean on which element we have to provide the CSS property, right? So what is P here? P is what? Selector. Okay, this is what? Selector. And color is what? Color is a property.
Value. Property.
Okay, and blue is what?
Value.
Yes, blue is a value, right? Okay, so there is one more thing. We can select an element using different way. In different way we can select the elements. So let me show you CSS selectors. Okay, so if you will go here, you will see we are having different types of selectors. Okay, so can we see? Okay, so simple selectors. So we have different categories of selectors, like simple selector, then we have combinator selectors, then we have pseudo selectors, and then we have pseudo element selector, then attribute selector. Okay, so right now we are not discussing about this combinator and all. We are talking about the simple selector. So in the simple selector you can select an element using the element select element based, or uh, we can select a particular element based on name, and based on ID, and based on class. So these like element, name and class, these comes under what? These three comes under what? Simple selector. Are you getting? So simple selectors are what? Name,
Name,
ID
ID,
and
class.
class. These are the simple selector. Okay. So let me just write here, just copy it. Simple selector. Okay. So simple selectors are what? Name, ID and class. Okay. So name is what? For example, selecting an element based on tag name. Okay, tag name is what? Like H1. Okay, like H1 paragraph. So these are the tag names. ID means selecting an element based on its ID, right? And class, similarly selecting an element based on its class name, right? So these are the three things. So we have seen this example. We have seen this example. This example is based on what? Selecting based on tag name, right? So what is our tag name? P is a tag, paragraph is a tag. Okay, paragraph is a tag. Let's suppose I am creating. Okay, so I want to provide this style to a element which is having an ID. Okay, so let's suppose I'm creating here one more P, and this is a paragraph which is having its okay its own ID. Okay, so let's suppose this is let's suppose I'm writing here one more thing, which is text, or not text but font size is like 30 pixels. Okay, so this see, I have two different paragraph. Okay, so let me write here also, like this is the P1 paragraph. Okay, and this is the P2 paragraph. Okay, you can clearly see we have two paragraphs. So the blue color and the text size, whatever style I'm providing to the paragraph now, so that style I don't want to add on this. I want to add the style on the second paragraph, which is P2 paragraph. So how can I do it? I can provide this paragraph one ID. Okay, ID is what? Unique. ID is like a roll number of the student. Okay, so how to provide ID? I will write here ID, and I will mention the ID name. Okay, you can write any name. Okay, so ID name I'm writing, let's suppose para 2. You can write any name, it's up to you, but you should remember the ID name. Okay, so what is the ID value? Para 2. So what I will say, instead of writing here P, I will say apply these two properties whose ID is what? Para 2. Okay, so instead of writing this, what I will write? I will write para 2. So can you see, is it working? Is it being applied?
No.
No, it is not being applied. See, I am writing the correct name. What's the name? Para 2. Here also I have written para 2. But the color and font size has not applied yet. So see, remember one thing. Whenever you are using ID and you are selecting an element, you are selecting paragraph element based on its ID. So whenever you are selecting an element based on its ID, you need to add hash first. You need to add hash symbol first. Can you see this hash symbol I have added? And you can see here second paragraph got what? Styling. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Yes, no? Okay. So okay. So here para 2 is what? Hash para 2 is an ID of P element. Okay, so what is P element? Here we have two P element. One is this, and this is another P element. But this P element is not having ID. But this P element is having ID. That is why it is applied. Okay, so let's suppose there is. I want to apply the. Okay, so Let me style this using the heading. I mean, using what? Tag selector. So tag selector means you have to write tag name, which is h1, and I'm writing here color is red. Okay, background is background color is what? Green. So it is coming like this. Okay, so this selecting something like this is known as which selector? Element or tag selector. Okay, selecting like this is known as selecting. Okay, ID selector. Okay, next we have to learn the class selector, right? So class selector. So I'm creating. Okay, so I'm creating here some CSS. CSS design I'm creating. Let's suppose CSS design is like border like 5 pixel, or let's suppose 8 pixel solid and blue, or we can say okay, blue is fine. Blue, no, brown. Okay, and I want to give font size. Okay, font size, and let's suppose font size is I'm giving which is 40 pixel, right? And I want to give one more thing which is background color, right? So what I want to give background color is, let's suppose, yellow. Okay, so how many properties I have written? 1, 2, and 3. So are we applying these three properties to a particular element? Right now we are not providing these properties to any element because we haven't written any selector name, right? So what I will do, I'm just creating here I'm just creating here one, okay, paragraph. Okay, paragraph tag this, or maybe I'm creating one h2 heading, h3 heading, h4 heading. How many headings are there? Heading tags?
6.
6. Yes. So total 6 headings are there. And here I am writing some words like, okay, so if you want to use multiple cursors, see, you want to write the same content in all the headings. So what you can do, you can press alt and you can click. So it by pressing alt and click, you can create multiple cursor. Okay, so here multiple cursor has created, and now what you will do, whatever you will type in all the elements simultaneously, it will display, right? So for example, I am writing a lorem pipe. Okay, so can you see, here we are getting 5 different headings, and the size is different due to its element nature. So h1 nature is, h2 nature is different, h3 size is different. Okay, so I want to apply these three properties on each elements altogether. Okay, on these each elements I want to provide CSS property altogether. So what I will do, in the each element I will write what class. So whenever you want to provide the common CSS properties, then what you need to do, you need to use the class attribute. What is this class attribute? And after writing the class attribute, you need to provide what? Attribute value. Okay, so class name, you can write any name. Okay, like headings. What is my class name? Headings. Okay, so can I mention here headings? Okay, so is these properties has applied? Can you tell me why we are not
No,
getting these styles? We have written three
we
CSS
we
styles.
didn't we didn't mention here Ash.
Okay, so let's try to put here hash. Okay, is it applying?
No.
No. So whenever we are using class selector, so in the class selector we always put dot, right? What we put? We put dot. So whenever you are working with ID, you will put hash. Whenever you are working with element, you will put the element name itself. Okay, whenever you are using class selector, you will put dot. Understand me? So now can you see, like earlier there was a difference in heading size. Can you see all the heading size is same and all these three properties applied on each element altogether? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So if you want to control the height width of each element, you can easily control by writing here like I want to keep 100 pixel width. Can you see it is coming like 100 pixel? Okay, or maybe 300 pixel. So it's coming like this. Okay, let's suppose altogether you want to decrease the font size, so you can write here font size is like 20 pixel, so it's coming like this, right? And if you want to change the font color, background color altogether, so you can change the background color. Okay, but you don't need to write RGB, you can write any color name. Okay, so like that it is displaying. Okay, so next what we have to study, the next thing which we have to study, which is, okay, so let me just keep the code first. Next we have to understand the types of CSS. Okay, so we are having different types of CSS. Okay, so the we are having three types of CSS, 1, 2 and 3. So the first type of CSS is known as inline CSS. Inline CSS. Second type of CSS is known as internal CSS. Okay, and the third type of CSS is known as external CSS. Okay, so whenever we are talking about internal CSS, means we are applying CSS inside a tag, inside an HTML tag, right? When we are talking about internal CSS means inside inside style tag. Okay, and when we are talking about external CSS, so we will create one separate file, separate .css file. Okay, linked with linked with link tag, link tag. Okay, so these are the three different CSS. Okay, how to write these three different CSS, let me tell you. So let me just clear first. Okay, this is, let me just create one more file. So one more file is types of CSS. See, whenever I am writing the file name, I am not giving any space. So whenever you write any file name in HTML, or css do not provide the space. Okay, so I want to create the html file having extension what, html, right? Okay, so here I will write the basic boilerplate code, right? This is what, types of css, types of css. Okay, so for example I am writing here h1. Okay, so if I'm writing here h1, and in h1 I'm writing this is this is inline css. Okay, so what is my heading name? Inline css. So how to provide inline css? So as I mentioned here, inside an html tag, inline css where we provide inside the html tag. So what is our html tag? H1. Okay, h1 is html tag. So inside this tag we will provide the css. So how to provide? We need to write here style is equals to, style is equals to what, let's suppose color red. Okay, so color is changing. So this is what providing, this is what, example of inline css. Okay, and the example of internal css. Okay, so for example I am writing here h2, and in h2 I am writing this is internal css. Okay, so my second heading is what, internal css. So how to provide internal css? So in order to provide the internal css, what we use the style tag. What is the tag name? Style tag, right?
Style.
So where we write this style tag? inside inside what, inside head tag. Okay, internal css we provide inside the style tag, and the style tag we write inside the head tag, right? So as you can see here we have this head tag. So inside the head tag, after title I will write here one tag which is style, right? In the style tag I can write the internal css. Okay, internal css. So how can provide the internal css? So you need to write the selector name. So selector name could be, okay, how many types of selectors? Simple selectors. So we have seen here already, we have three different types of selectors.
Name, ID, class.
Yes, name, id and class. Okay, so but we
Class.
will try to select it with the help of name selector we will use. Okay, so name selector, what's the name of this tag? h2. Okay,
H2.
so we will write here h2, and we will write the property like color is, we can check, we can take any color from here. Let's suppose color is this one. Okay, so this is the color. I want to change the size as well. Font size 70 pixel. Okay, so like that it is coming. or 40 pixel is good, right? So this is known as internal CSS. What is another type of CSS? External CSS. Okay,
External
so
CSS.
how to write the external CSS? We need to create a separate file. Okay, separate file with extension .css. Okay, and we have to link it using link tag. Okay, and link tag we write inside what? Link tag we write inside the head tag. So how to do it? Just see here. Okay, so first of all, I'll create one file which is uh, external .css. The moment you are writing .css, this is nothing but CSS file. Okay, and in the CSS file, I am mentioning. Okay, let me create here one tag which is s3. This is external CSS. Okay, external CSS. Okay, so right now if you will see the output, there will there is no style. So let me write external CSS. So here, as you can see, I am writing here tag name. What's the tag name? S3. I'm selecting this element with the help of tag name. So what's the tag name? S3. So what I'm using here?
S3.
S3. Can I provide some
S3.
style? Like color is what? Green. Okay. Font size is like 70 pixel. Okay. Border is border 10 pixel solid. Tell me your favorite color. Name
Sky blue.
sky blue. Okay. Sky blue. Right. Okay, so will it apply? All the changes will apply to this. See, we have
No.
written this is the external CSS heading, and we have written all three properties, but it has not applied. Why it is
Because we
not
have to
applied?
put dot.
Dot where?
Yeah.
See,
Dot.
it. I have written here separate dot CSS file.
Dot CSS.
Yes, so this is what dot CSS file we have created. If you will see here, if you will notice here, if you will notice here, what is this file? Dot CSS file.
Dot CSS.
Okay, this
Yes.
is what dot CSS file, and in this dot CSS file we are working. Okay, so there are two things. One is file name, one is extension. So we are talking about dot CSS extension. What is the extension here? Dot HTML. What is the extension here? Dot HTML. But file name could be any. Like file name is in CSS introduction. File name is what? Externals. Okay, file name is what? Types of CSS. File name could be any, but extension must be dot .css when we are using external CSS. But still it is not applying. Okay, so here we are missing one thing. Separate dot CSS file we have created. Now the next thing is what? Linked. Okay, this is an important thing. Linked with link tag, right? Link
Link
tag.
tag.
And where we have to write link tag? Inside head tag. Okay, so just do it. So see, here is our h3 heading. Okay, and in the h3 heading we have this head section. So in the head section, what we have to write? Link tag. Okay, link tag. Okay, so whenever you are writing link tag, you need to link what? Link this external file. Okay, what I'm seeing, see, this is the HTML file. What is the file name? What is this file name? This file name is type types of
Types
CSS.
of CSS.
Okay, so this file name is types of CSS. But this types of CSS, this HTML file, do not aware, it is not aware about this CSS file. Okay,
Yes.
this HTML file don't know anything about the CSS file. But what we are saying, whatever code is written in the CSS file, just apply those code to the H3 heading. But H3 is saying, I mean HTML file is saying, I don't know your external .css file. So that is why we are using here link tag. And in the link tag, we will provide one attribute which is href. And with href, we will
Okay.
link this file. Okay, so in href, what?
HRF is a anchor tag, right?
No, no, no. Href is an attribute. Href in
Yeah.
attribute is an attribute, but generally we write it with h a tag. Okay, when you write a tag, so automatically href is coming.
Yes, yes,
But it
yes.
is not like
Yes.
only a tag can use href. So href is an
Okay.
attribute which can be used with link tag as well, depending upon where you want to redirect. Okay, so this link tag I have written, right? Okay, in the link tag, there is one attribute called href, and this href we are saying this external file. Which external file? This CSS external file. Just link this file. So it will say what is the name of your file. So here we have to mention the name. So what is the name? External
External dot CSS.
CSS. Okay, so external .css I have written. Is that applied? It is applying.
No,
It is still not
no.
applied. So what I need to do, I have to tell this link tag whatever you are linking. So it is confused now. What you are linking, is that a image address? Is that a like video file or website link? So we have to tell it it is not a website or image. So here we have to mention one more attribute, which is nothing but, which is known as rel. Okay, which tell the relation. And I will say the relation is what? Style sheet. Style sheet. Can you see now it has applied? So in link tag, in the link tag, we need to mention two things. Okay, one is the relation. What's the relation? And the second thing is what is the file name? Getting? So relation is, so this file
Hmm.
we have linked. This file is nothing but a style sheet file. So that is the relation. And the moment you mention the relation, it has applied the property we have written in the css file separately. So it has applied. Can you see it has applied? So if I will change, if I will write another property here, let's suppose background color, let's suppose yellow. So you can see it is applying right now. So why we use external css? See, whenever we write lot of code in css, so it could be messy if you are if you will combine your HTML code. See, this is what HTML code. If you will combine your HTML code and style sheet code, means CSS code, in the one file only, so it could be little complex to understand. So that is why we create the separate file. Any doubt? And
Understand.
understanding na? If you have any doubt, any question, you may ask.
Mm.
Okay, so let's just ask to the chat GPT also. Uh, Different types of CSS. Okay, give uh, give syntax and code in short. So it is saying one is inline CSS. Okay, and in inline CSS, how do we write? We write inside the tag. So tag name could be any, like paragraph is a tag name. Style is what? Attribute name. Okay, here we are writing property and value. So similarly, here we are writing two properties. One is color property, one is font size property. When we talk about internal CSS, so internal CSS is also known as embedded CSS, right? Internal CSS is also known as embedded CSS. Internal CSS is also known as embedded CSS. Okay, so here we write using style tag as we have already written, and specifically we write it in the head section. Okay, and which selector we are using? Which selector we are using here? What's the selector name? Okay, we are using name selector, and this is the p tag. External CSS relation we are mentioning, which is style sheet. Href, what we are mentioning? The location of the file and name of the file. Okay, so the file name is style.css,
Yes, yes.
right? And here we are mentioning. Okay, anyway, I'm just keeping the link of this. Copy the link. Now, what is the next concept? Next concept is colors and background and border. I think we already know about this. Okay, and I'm just
Colors
skipping.
on borders.
Sorry.
Font text also we can use like that only, I think.
Yes, yes, yes. So these are the properties
Yeah.
only. Okay, so let's see the box model. Okay, let me just let's just tell this ask this chat GPT. Okay, so that we can we can save our time. Tell in short points only. So it is showing like we are having colors. Okay, so we can write color, text color, and background color is for background color. So this is the thing, and background control the element background. Okay, so we can give background as a color, we can give background as an image, we can give background as a repeat, position, and size. So let's try to understand the background. Okay, so let me just keep this heading. So create a new file here. So css properties.html. So let's take a boilerplate code. So let's suppose I'm writing here h1. Okay, and h1 is this only. Okay, so here what I will do, I will write some css. After the title tag, I will write style tag to provide the css. And here let me just write here h1. So for color we can use different color values. Okay, so color is what? Red. Okay. Mhm. Okay, and one more thing, if you want background, so you can change the background of this particular element. And if you want to change the background of this particular what we can say, this body, the page body, so you can select which element, body element. Okay, so body, and you can write here background color, let's suppose black. So can you see everything is coming black, right? So similarly, if you want to use some image background, okay, let's suppose you want to use some image background. Okay, so wallpaper. Okay, instead of the color background you want to use some image. Okay, okay, so let me just right click and copy this image address. Okay, I have, what I did, I just copied the image address and I want this background on my page here. So what I will do, instead of writing here background color, I will write here background image. Okay, after writing background image, I will write here URL. Okay, and in the URL what I will provide, I will paste that image address. Okay, so can you see image image background is coming, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so with image background what we can use, we can use background repeat. Okay, so can you see here, if you will notice, if you will notice here, your this background is repeating, this background is repeating from here. Can you see one divider here? So this background is repeating because it is not fit for this uh, fit for this screen. That's why this image size is still here only, but to fulfill this it is repeating itself. So if you want like it should not repeat itself, so what you can do, you can write here background repeat. What you can mention, background repeat, and you can mention repeat or no repeat. So no repeat means it will not come. So can you see it is not coming? What is the next property? Next property is background position. Okay, so like in which position you want to keep your background, so that is also you can mention. Okay, so position you can give different like center, cover, or there are different position, background position. Okay, so let's suppose I am writing background position is was center. Okay, so this is the center position of background. You can mention here different properties like top. Okay, like, so we have, if we are having different properties like cover. Okay, so let's ask to the chat GPT itself. Background, position, values. Okay, so we can give top left. Okay, so we can mention top left, left center. Okay, and left bottom. Okay, like that we can mention center bottom or center we can mention. So, but we don't need to study it in much detail. Just we should have an idea about it. Okay, so it is coming like this. And the next property which we can use, which is background size. Okay, so background size we can say. So right now it is not good fit. So here we can mention the background size by writing the property called background size, and we can mention it cover. Okay, so it is coming like this. Okay, so this background is something like this. Okay, if you want to repeat the background, you can mention here repeat. Okay, background repeat is repeat. Okay, and if you don't want to repeat it, so you can mention here no repeat. Right, so it's up to you. And the next thing what we have to see here, okay, border. So border we already know. So let's suppose I have written here one heading. Let's suppose this S2 heading. Okay, so border properties. Okay, so right now I am disabling the image. I don't want to use the image. Okay, so here I have to provide the border properties. Border properties. Okay, so what I want border from top. I want the top border of this heading. Okay, how can I make the top border? So I will write here first selector name, what is h2 selector, and then I will say border top. Okay, so here I can mention 10 pixel solid and let's suppose green. Okay, so border is coming, top border is coming, yes or no? And if you want to create a left border, so you can write here border left. If you want to create the right border, you can mention border right. Okay, so right side it is coming, and if you want to make it bottom, so bottom border is coming. Okay, and if you want full border, so you just need to write border only, so it's coming border. Okay, understanding? Or should we stop the class right here?
No understanding.
Understanding now. If you feel bored, you just tell me so that we
No,
can
no,
wind
no.
up. Okay, top left and right and bottom. Okay, so these are the different properties you can write. Okay, only border means border from all sides. Okay, so this is the shorthand property, but if you have to write the border, if you have to give the border, so without shorthand property, so what you will mention, you will mention first border width. Okay, like 10 pixel. Then you will mention border style, like these are the different style. Okay, let's suppose double. Okay, double border. Okay, by default color is black, but you need to mention border color. So border color, let's suppose this. Okay, so these are the separately we are giving width, style and color. Okay, so you can use the shorthand. This is known as shorthand property. and this is what like lengthy property fully described. Okay, next what we have to check, just let me. Okay, so next we have to discuss about, font text and styling. This is also very simple. The next topic, which is position, we will discuss in the next class, but let's see this. Okay, so here this is used for font family, used for change the font appearance. Okay, properties like font family, font size, and font style we can use, and font variant. Okay, we can use. Okay, let's suppose I want to change the font size. I want to change the font of this particular paragraph. Okay, lorem. Okay, this is font styling. Okay, and let me just apply css here. So p tag, and font size is what, 30 pixel. Okay, so it is coming like this. Okay, now let's apply all the properties one by one. One is font family, right? So font family means you want to change the font style. So let's just write here font family, and here we have different families. Okay, so which we can apply and check, like monospace. Okay, so this font is coming like this. Otherwise we can use the Google font as well, but I will tell you in upcoming classes about that when we will create the project. So right now, just basic idea. Okay, and we can use the font size, which we have already used. Font style, so we can write the font style as well. Okay, font style like underline if you want. Font style, so font style is like you can make it italic. Okay, okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so font style is like you can make it italic. Okay, so italic is coming like underline if you want. Underline. Okay, underline it is not supporting. Okay, you can make it italic. Okay, that is fine. And after that we have font weight. Okay, so font weight means if you want to increase the thickness of the font, so that time you can go with font weight. You can use this number in higher order, and then bold, bolder, and highlighter. Okay, let's suppose highlighter. So highlighter is not working. Let's suppose I'm writing here bold, coming boulder. Okay, so boulder is also applied. Okay, like 900. Okay, so it is also applied. So you can mention here bold boulder, or you can write a number. Okay, after that we have font variant. Okay, so for in font variant you can mention, like, if you want to keep the font in the capital, right, you want to keep your font in the capital only, so you can mention the font variant like small caps. So see, the first letter is capital and all the letters are, letter size is small, but the font, like each letter is capital. Okay, so like that you can mention in font variant. Okay, so small caps. Okay, next is font. Okay, these also you can use, which is text align, text decoration. Okay, so you can, in the text decoration we can mention text decoration. Here you can mention underline. Okay, so underline is coming, and you can mention like dotted. Okay, dotted is not applicable here. So overline, line through. Okay, so line through is working, but I'm just writing here underline only. So underline you can write with HTML tag, formatting tag as well. So there is a U tag, okay, for underline. So but we can control it with CSS as well. Next is what? Letter spacing. Okay, so if you want like your font should have some spacing, so you can mention here letter spacing like 8 pixel. So can you see the letter is a bit on a bit distance. Okay, and similarly we have one is word spacing, word spacing like 3 pixel. So word is having some gap. Okay, words are coming with some gap, so that is also we can mention. And line height, let's suppose when you have a huge paragraph, that time you can decide the line height. Okay, let's suppose this paragraph is containing more text like 40. Okay, so now you can decide the line height, you can keep the line height. So line height 30. Okay, so can you see some line height provided to that element? Are you there? Are you listening?
Yes, listening. Yes, listening.
That's great. You might be thinking like when you will stop the class.
No, no.
It's too long. Okay, no worries. So we have discussed these many things, but for these many things, I think we will do it in the next class. It will take, I think, two more classes. Okay, apart from this, we will discuss more CSS properties, but these are the common properties which you must understand them. Okay, so there are a lot of things for practice to you. Okay, Bhavani.
Okay.
So, like,
Okay.
it could be a burden on you if you will not do the daily practice. So, I'm giving you
Yeah, I
warning.
have to do it.
I'm
I will do
giving you
it.
warning, right? Because we started the CSS and this is like a little higher. Uh, it's need little more practice than HTML. In HTML, it's okay, less practice, but CSS demand lots of practice. Okay, so I have given here code as well, so that is you can practice. Okay, I will. You can watch the recording, right? If you need any help, you can talk to me on message group. Okay, and all right. What else we are? Okay, so let me just copy this also. Okay, let's mm, give a task to give a task. Okay, so this is a task for you. Mm, Simples. Okay, so do not use Google font because we didn't discuss that Google font, but you can prepare this task, right? Just um, yeah, I'm just giving the link to you as well. Okay. So you can take this link and you can perform the task, right? Okay, is everything clear to you,
Understand.
right? And if you face any problem, you can talk to me. Okay, so that's all for today's class. Thank you for giving your time. And it was,
Once again, I have one doubt.
yes, yes, please.
We are using separate styles in a CSS, but in HTML we are using like whatever we are getting like heading or paragraph. Before only we are using style is equal to like a color background. We are using like that, no?
Yes, yes, because
What
we
is
are we are having three different CSS. CSS
okay?
we can provide in three different ways. So if you are writing inside the tag, that is also a CSS. If you are writing in the head section by using the style tag, that is also a CSS. When you are creating the separate file, that is also a CSS. We are writing the CSS, but there are three different ways. For example, if I ask you which CSS I have written here, so you can see this style tag. So inside the style tag I have written the CSS. So such CSS is known as internal CSS. If I am writing
Okay.
CSS something like this, okay, if I am writing CSS something like this, that is known as inline CSS. Okay, when I'm writing
Mm.
CSS something like this in a separate file, that is known as external CSS. But these all are the CSS only,
Okay.
right now. All right, just
Yes, yes,
practice.
understand.
Do practice
Understand.
with yourself, you will get more clarity. Okay,
Okay.
all right, good night.
Okay. Good night. Thank you. Bye.